Welcome back to Band Aid with Doc Rock. I am Doc Rock, your rockologist. We are in the recovery room. And this band needs no introduction tonight. I've been looking forward to this tonight. And this is a miracle because all 5 of them are here. Befallen, all 5 Befallen are here. How's that? That's loyalty. Yeah, I love it. Welcome to Band Aid, guys. How y'all doing tonight, okay?
Very good.
Good. Now, we just treated the fans to 2 great Befallen tunes. What were the 2 tunes we just heard?
The first one was Acedia. The second one was Protea.
Protea, okay. And Acedia was the first one?
Acedia, yeah.
Okay. Could you get song names that are easier to spell?
We want people to think we're smart.
That's great. Yeah. Well, of course, this band's a whole lot of fun. And some of you who don't know them, many of them, of course, they're known worldwide, but I'd like to catch your name and what instrument you play, sir.
My name is Gregory, and I play the guitar.
Gregory and the guitar, okay. You are?
I'm Tom, and I do vocals.
Okay. You do vocals?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't sing, I do vocals.
If you do screamo vocals, do you probably too? You know, I can imagine. All right, fine. You are.
My name's Bill. I play bass guitar.
Okay, bass, yeah.
My name is Brian. I play strictly rhythm guitar.
No, wait, strictly rhythm guitar?
No, I'm just kidding.
What is he, union, you're not?
Yeah. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. Will you let him play a little more?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Stick to the rhythm, one
Stick to the
solo.
leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there's got to be a drummer in this band.
Yeah, my name's Jeremy, and I'm the drummer for this month.
Drummer of the month, Jeremy.
There he is.
Spinal Tap, baby.
Is this like a contest coming up for like drummer of the month type thing or something? No? Is there no job security in Befallen, Jeremy, or what? What's going on with this?
We're hard to get along with, you know.
Yeah. But now wait a second. You guys have been around since 2005, based on what I read and everything. And I was just curious. Of course, when you go online, you look up Befallen. You know, there's a number of bands around the world that have chosen
Australia, South Africa.
Yep.
And do you ever get fans, loving your latest album, and you're having to say that's not us, or trademark issues, or any confusion like that? Because and the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of bands, when they pick names, are really afraid, of infringing upon something else.
Sure. There's nothing that's out there that's copyrighted or what.
Okay.
There's a few other bands with, the same name.
Okay.
Australia, South Africa, and I think there's one in New York.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then people come to us and they go, well, yeah, we've had certain reviews that are compared, like Befallen Australia, Befallen America. And we've had the better reviews, so
okay.
It works out for us.
Okay. As long as you get the better of the deal,
yeah.
take it. Probably right. That's cool. You were talking about core styles and things of that sort. I'm real curious. Because everybody's talking about deathcore, hardcore, metalcore, traditional. What are some of the differences? Because you were actually saying that you are more European melodic in your music.
Sure.
So what bugs you about all the core stuff that you had to get out of and move to the melodic?
I'll put in one thing and then Bill can answer the rest of that.
Okay.
The Cleveland metal scene has a lot of great metal,
Mm-hmm.
but everybody's doing the same thing. You could go to a show, and I'm not talking bad about anybody, but it just sounds like you can't decide for the band.
Okay.
There's no, there could be a great band, but it's the same thing over and over for the whole show with 5 different bands.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
For me, when my brother and I first started this band, we wanted to differentiate ourselves, and we were always drawn to the way the European metal bands sounded, using melody to create hooks and memorable things, where just being heavy and brutal, I mean, no one can listen to an album full of that. At least I can't.
Yeah, it's called full ears. Yeah.
And there's nothing for the listener to even grasp onto, but the European bands, like the way they write their songs and everything, have grasped that. So that's what we aspired to do, and hopefully that's what we achieve.
Pulling more melody into it, because I'll tell you, the first thing when I listened to your music, and I think viewers, you got the same thing with the first 2 songs we just heard, is one, the lyrics are intelligible. My gosh, you finally know what Tom is saying, and you can finally understand how it fits into the theme of the song and the hook and all that. Yeah. And a lot of bands don't get that. And the second one is, and it happens a lot more live, is with this band, I can hear the bass riffs. Thank God! I can hear the bass riffs. Because a lot of times when I go hear metal bands, I go, why is the bass player there?
Right.
The dude's just, just slamming on this thing, and you're getting nothing but frequency.
We
If it were me,
want
I-
that really full sound, and
Right.
that's a huge part of it.
But you need internal definition out of all that. In a lot of bands I hear, you might as well just turn up the bass, get feedback, and go to the bar and have a beer.
Right.
Because that's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, right.
And it doesn't gratify the musician whatsoever. In this band, you really do it well. So
When we recorded this demo, that the songs that you guys heard from with Bill Korecki, now that was something that was really important to him, was getting the bass audible and to have it really punch through the mix, and I think he did a really nice job. So
I'm curious. Have you with the European melodic sounds things? Have you ever been to Europe?
No,
No,
never.
Well, I've been to London, but that doesn't really
Okay,
count.
I knew that was going to be your answer because you need to get there.
Yeah.
You need to get there. Fans, get them on Kickstarter. We need to get there.
Right.
Befallen needs to get to Europe, okay?
I don't think it's from a lack of wanting to go there.
No, I know. But there's towns like Berlin,
Right.
Prague, in countries like Romania that are just awesome for this type of stuff you were doing,
Yeah.
And the market is so great for what you're doing, and that combined with their passion for American rock, wow,
Right.
would really be great. So you're going to get there. Oh, I know you're going to get there.
I
So you got to
appreciate
send them
that.
there, okay? Well, they're going to do a gig for you, and you're not going to hear the lyrics, okay? So, no. Do you really consider yourself, Tom? Are you extreme?
No, I'm actually a softy.
Are you really?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
a wolf in tweeter's clothing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, because as a band, you're great guys and everything. Do you, when you walk on stage and you then become Befallen,
Mm.
is there a mindset that goes through you? The drummer's the back of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's got to drive it. What happens with you? Does your mindset change when you sit on the throat, look at the drums, the crowd's there, and the show's about to start?
Absolutely, and, and I've had the benefit of being with quite a few bands in my career of music, and the one thing is like we can be parents, we can be guys who have jobs and this and that, all throughout the day, every week you live the same life over and over and over. But it's like that whatever that spot is, that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever you get on that stage, and I can speak for all of us, and I know they feel the same feeling. It's like once you get on that stage, it just, everything else disappears. And that's the minute that no matter what's going on, all you care about is what the band you're with, and you're having a good time. And so when I zone out with these guys, no matter what city we're in, and we're Befallen, we're up there having a good time, and it's just, it's a ride. I mean, it's a good time, and that's why we do it. I mean, that's what it all boils down to, is having a good time.
I agree.
So as the rhythm guitarist who's not allowed to play lead,
Right.
how do you prepare for a show?
Well, honestly, I like to let everybody know that I'm there to have a good time, and during soundcheck, I like to goof around, play some goofy songs or whatever, and just let everybody know that it's relaxed, it's fun, here we are. But like they said, at the same time, the songs themselves and the lyrical content and everything is serious and sad or whatever. But try to find a good balance. It's basically
Sure.
So.
Every professional performer, I'm glad you said what you said, because every professional performer has that on button that's right at the back of the lower base of your spine. And that on switch is when that moment comes, all you got to do is just hit that thing and bam, you're on.
Right.
And it just you click right into it, and then when the show's over with, it doesn't matter your lifestyle off the stage. But it's all about the show. And I'm glad you feel that way, and you really want to pour it on for fans and stuff, and especially for lead vocalist Tom. That's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
You are front and center, so you got to be the Gonzo guy,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I really don't even think about it though. I mean, not necessarily. Obviously, when you have the feedback, it just hits the spot. I think it's with everybody. When the crowd is feeding back off things, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
It's cyclical.
Yeah.
When you're playing well, the crowd's responding. When the crowd's responding, you're playing better.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are
Yeah.
the best gigs.
Right.
And you always put more energy into it when the crowd's
We had
by far.
I did a show with Behemoth,
Uh-huh.
and it was actually my 30th birthday.
Okay.
And the show got pushed back, and we had main stage,
Oh, okay.
So we had a nice time slot, 9:30. It was like everybody was in the thing. There was 500 people, something like that.
Wow.
And it was just like they were all into it. It was great. And then the next time we play a show, there's 30 people there. They were just standing there with their arms crossed, like, okay, you guys That'll help us out a little bit, Chair.
Because the next show heard that you were 30.
Right.
And so
Right.
you're now, no, just kidding, just kidding.
It's not
Okay.
cool anymore.
Just kidding, okay, understand. Well, I learned so much about your band, and I really have to tell you how much I appreciate your profile on your web pages. And everybody who watches your show can know I'm the biggest nag in the world, and I will sock you if you're an injection band. When I go to these websites, and the bands put up these lame to nothing profiles, and people want to know about it. They just want to know, okay? And what's really great, I think, more than most bands, is Befallen really tells the story of who you are, and and your view on your music, and the takeaway is so powerful for fans. If you do nothing else, go to the Befallen's website and at least read the profile, because you will certainly know this band. And it's on it's on MySpace, Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all over the place. So it's all good. Hey, I gotta ask you. You said I read that you have these dual vocal harmonies. Where they're actually kind of a counterpoint harmonies and things like that.
It's on a new recording.
Yeah, which is really kind of cool stuff. And arpeggiated leads. Now, since we have a very divided guitar department, could you please explain what is an arpeggiated lead, Mr. Mozart?
Oh, of course, absolutely. It's basically, you have a chord and you just play the individual notes of it and kind of do it in a cyclical fashion. So you just kind of get this sort of circle of scales, really.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's something that I see a lot of guys doing, at lightning fast speeds, but I think if you slow it down a little bit and let it transverse the rest of the progression,
Right.
it starts to really bring out some of the melody.
It's effective.
So, yeah, so it's something I like to do a lot. It comes out in a lot of my playing, but ultimately it's just another facet of music that you can, you have in your tool belt to use when you go to write something or play something. So,
Sure, and it sets you apart from the rhythm guitar because he doesn't get near you.
Completely different. Completely different.
No, I think it's absolutely great. Now, Tom, how would you explain to potential talent buyers and all, hey, we're a European melodic band, we're not like all the rest. Is it harder to get gigs, or are you finding that that opens a door because maybe there's a greater understanding that you're a lot more musically sensitive than just the normal core bands?
I think Bill would be better at answering that question, but as far as booking all the gigs, I do.
Uh-huh.
Cleveland, there's few and far between places to play now.
Of course, sadly.
So you pretty much have a few places that you play at, then you build the relationship, and then you start to draw the people, and then you kind of draw them. When we're playing out-of-town gigs, we'll usually hook up with another band.
Okay.
Do something like, hey, we'll bring you to Cleveland, you bring us there. Something like that. Out of town, we don't really work with the club owners. Here we do, but we've built that relationship now.
But do they understand European melodic?
I really think they do. I don't know if it's
Okay.
it's hard to say because so many club owners are so full of crap.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, here, you sell these tickets, you make us $1,000.
Right.
You're
right.
gonna get nothing, but you can play on the stage.
Right.
And that's basically what it is. Then eventually you get down to, hey, you sell these tickets, you make us $50, we'll guarantee you this slot. Then they end up screwing you over and put you on the side stage.
Okay, sure.
Then you get to the point that, you sell these tickets and then you're lucky if you get a main stage spot, basically. Yeah, so it's hard to say. I mean, the club scene in Cleveland now is not what it used to be.
And what I was saying before, the 60-20-20 gig thing, some things to think about. Because you are a European melodic band, and because you offer all this musical integrity, think about things like the Museum of Contemporary Art.
Yeah.
That is a university circle that is being built and will open to grand celebrations. They don't want a polka band. Okay, they're looking for bands of musical integrity.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Museum of Art does a thing called Summer Solstice, and they bring in, incredible global DJs and acts and things like that. They're looking for, they're looking for a variety of genres that appeal to a wider audience base. And no, they don't want the same old screamo death metal thing.
Right.
And the better you market yourself as the European melodic, and the more that they're exposed to it, the better the chance are for these additional types of gigs. So even the Actor Museum of Art and all these types of things. I mean, you have to get the point across to them and really get them to say, "Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So, it'd be really helpful to you.
Right.
Hey, I also got to tell you too, congrats upon the May 2011 release
Right.
of your self-titled album,
Right.
That's cool. 6 tracks? You got to do 6 tracks on it? Is that what it is? Right?
No, only 3 on the new one.
Oh, is it 3 on the
It's
new
a proper
one?
demo, which is going to be released.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's the 16th. We actually have a show at Peabody's on the 19th with Pentagram,
Okay,
and
good.
that's going to be where it's going to be first available. So,
Okay. So I think the release is great, but I was fascinated because most of your tunes are 5 to like 6.5 minutes,
mm.
which is longer than most, the norm. Everybody looks for the 3-minute wonders.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't expect to hear you in the top 40, obviously, but any particular reason for that kind of length? Is it that the story is longer to tell? Is it the bass player gets paid more by the note?
Right.
It's more just like a genre convention. Like most doom or doom-oriented metal is longer.
Mhm.
So that's something that we kind of strove for because we play slower,
Okay.
and it fits.
Mhm.
It's just one of the things. So.
Okay.
I
Okay.
need to get the story out, I think. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's space for the melody to kind of breathe and stuff like that too. It's important.
Well, it's great for longer lead solos.
Yeah, of course,
I'll throw an
yeah.
occasional bass solo. So thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's great stuff. Now, a lot of your songs are fast fade outs at the end. Is there a reason behind that? Anything? Like, so you look at listening to the endings of them, and they just have fast fades.
So listen to the end.
I do. Wait a second.
Get it over with. Usually it's like, all right, here's this part. Skip to the next song.
Okay. Because usually, I'm not against fade outs. I'm not discriminating, but there's usually slow fades and a variety of fades. No, Befallen just says, right, that's it.
Done.
Right.
Next
Song
song.
Yeah.
Get it on with you.
Okay, no, I think it's, and you don't really use a lot of effects. A lot of bands just pour out a ton of effects and
Right.
layers of all that. But what I really like about Befallen is you have the musical integrity that you don't need effects.
Yeah, there's not many. It's very subtle.
Okay,
So usually on the leads,
Yeah,
perhaps.
just
I mean, honestly,
Your basic effects.
sure.
Yeah.
And your new album, of course, has got some really cool graphics. Tell me about who developed the graphics for the
A guy
cover.
named Mohammed Mustafa from Jordan.
Okay.
And he's living in Finland or something?
Yeah, he's in Finland now.
He
Really?
became a good friend of the band, and he's just I do this, one of those type of guys, he's been a friend from the beginning, and he helps us out a lot.
Sure.
Gives
So
us a
you
good
have
deal.
global artistic
Yeah.
influence.
Nice.
And he actually got us a review, and
You did a great job.
he got us a review on what was that website? Something in Jordan.
Okay.
Some website or whatever.
Okay, wow, that is cool. Now, one of the songs we heard earlier tonight was Protea. Protea is a flowering plant.
Yes,
Okay.
it's the national flower of South Africa.
Thank you. How did this wind up into being did you try to smoke the song or what?
100% Tom.
Yeah, that's all you.
That's all Tom.
Yeah,
Is it all
I
Tom?
used to. I met a person from South Africa. I moved there.
Okay,
I married her. Brought her
okay.
back here, so it kind of has some of
I
the
see.
lyrics aren't meant to be taken literally. There's some,
Okay. So those are the few screamo lyrics of Okay, okay. You still
there's
have
a lot of metaphors in this.
I can imagine. You're happy
That's
to
it.
still
Yeah, I could describe it in detail, but it wouldn't be
No,
proper.
that's okay. I just because it's, you wouldn't think about, a band of your caliber doing this song about a flower.
Yeah.
It's just, well, another type of flower. But
Yeah.
again, honestly. And of course, the song Maya. Maya is very impressive. The drums in that song seem pretty militant, and the bass riff seemed kind of spiritual, that song. So, I really admire that. But the song that really got me was the piano intro to this, was the song Self-Fulfilled.
Self-fulfilled prophecy.
Prophecy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was, I did not expect the piano intro, and I really like that. And I'll tell you what impressed me the most is, the use of the lowest registers on the piano.
Mhm.
Was that an acoustic piano?
I don't believe so, no. That was done by a friend of ours, Eric Milos. Yeah.
Okay.
We actually did
Shout out to Eric, yeah.
Right. He actually did piano parts on the new demo also.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Not a full member of the band, but a friend of ours.
Well, it's so great about the low registers of a piano, especially acoustic or otherwise.
Mhm.
Very percussive, but very somber.
Right.
You know, it really, and it works well. You're one of the few bands I've ever really heard integrate that in their
Yeah, you
music. So.
definitely did a great job.
Really
Yeah,
good.
I think
Really good.
honestly,
we
like,
gave him free reign over that too.
Did you? Good.
and it took him maybe half an hour. I mean, he just sat down, and fiddled with it, and,
Yeah, very
and what
talented.
basically, yeah, what you hear is what I mean. He did it right. He did it right
You
then.
work for a week on a song, and then I got the interpretation.
It's like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Knock it out.
Yep.
Well, these 3 songs actually took us a year to record.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, that stuff happens. Now, do you have any feelings about analog over digital? You know, any feelings one way or the other?
Yeah, you know, we went into the studio and recorded the demo, and that was done in, you know, a very kind of straightforward fashion as far as, you know, the metal albums being recorded. I mean, it was all done in, you know, massive studio board and all. And again, I think the sound came out great and it's phenomenal, but I think the technology of digital is quickly catching up to the quality of analog as well.
Okay.
So I think those two worlds are starting to kind of collide because there's such a huge push in that direction
Right.
of digital music
Right.
and recording that, again, you know, the technology is starting to really catch up with that whole realm of thought as far as recording goes. So I think digital's great. I think it kind of allows for a lot of freedom, but analog I think still has a little bit of a
Analog takes a
upper
lot
hand.
more talent.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Just to see some guy actually working the board.
Oh yeah,
as
no,
far as
it does.
pushing a button.
But you know, people like analog because they say, you know, it's a much warmer sound.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Right,
I'm, not,
right.
I'm not so sure that Befallen was looking for a warmer sound.
No,
You know,
no.
as you are just, you know, looking for really the punch.
Right.
You know, so I'm just kind of curious what your feelings about,
Yeah.
about that. The with writing, who really does a lot of the writing in this band? Is this a cooperative thing? Does Tom start out with something? Do you start off with a guitar lick and guys fill in and Tom comes over the top of lyrics?
Right.
What's the writing procedure like with Befallen?
It usually starts actually with my brother.
Yeah, usually like
Go
I'll
ahead.
come up with like this, you know, the skeleton idea of the song or whatever, and we'll kind of flesh it out from there. Basically, the last people to touch it will be like Tom and then Jeremy. And
Okay.
we'll kind of go from there, and then Greg obviously with his leads and whatever. So
Just kind of a shared process with it.
yeah, definitely.
Now,
Like,
what
I
if,
mean,
but what if you're building that core to a song and all of a sudden the percussion department, the drums say, I want to do it to a different beat, got a better beat to it, let's speed it up.
he's certainly
that-
welcome to do so. I mean, like, I mean,
Okay, you open to it?
yeah,
Oh yeah, we're open for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
takes us a while to beat it out. Like
Okay.
things will change. You know, we'll start off one way, go, yeah, this is all right. And it'll be like good. That'll be perfect. Then I'll go back to something else, be like, what the hell was I thinking?
Well,
Yeah.
it's because, and I'm responding for it because a lot of people say, you know, the drummer, he just sets the beat and we go.
Nah.
But, you know, you can take a song, a lot of writers make this mistake, you can take a song and adjust the tempo,
Yeah.
you know, either slower or faster, whatever it may be, and maybe the perfect tempo for that song. And all the writers missed it.
sure.
Well, even with us, the drummer is part of the writing process.
Sure.
The,
Good.
the breakdown or whatever
It's
you
the
want to call it.
backbone of the whole band. So.
Okay.
In a CD, Jeremy actually came up with. Because we basically told him, like, we want a cool rhythm that we can all lock in on, come up with something.
Okay.
And that's what it ended
Drummers
up
are the
being.
best at that, you know, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. Really important. Tom, if you're the businessman of the band, you know, I'd like to know, and our viewers would like to know, how much time do you really have to dedicate to furthering this band each week? I mean, wow, guy, it's a lot.
Yeah, we've since we're recording, we've been on a bit of a hiatus.
Okay.
But before that, it was just the social networks,
Okay.
calling clubs that we haven't played at, trying to get ourselves together, calling the same clubs that we always do, and just watching for shows that we fit on the bill.
Okay.
So I mean, hour-wise, it'd probably be at a minimum, I'd say 20 to 30 hours a week.
That's a reasonable answer. Great, that's good. Yeah, 20, 30 hours a week then, okay.
And then even then, it's you got to spend more time if you want something. That's 20 to 30 hours a week to pretty much just play a show
Sure.
with nothing. So
Thanks for sharing that.
you gotta really work hard at it.
Right, no, you have to. It's a lot
I
of
will say
dedication.
Tom is the main guy that does that. He really does a good job.
Yeah, he's our PR department.
Right.
You know,
I fall short in that department.
I'm a talker. So.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Jim Buffy's got a salary increase too.
Oh, yeah, that's a-
Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Right. You know, does Befallen ever take a look, when you look at video of yourself live, Are you pretty critical of yourself when you see
Definitely.
yourself?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I just
absolutely.
wanted to hear it. We did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the main reason we record live videos. Like we'll take 2 cameras
Mhm.
for every show and record them, and then just say, well, we could have did this, we could have did that.
Uh-huh.
Here's what was wrong with the sound, you know, just so we know going in prepared, like you have to adjust these levels this way. You know, don't trip over your guitar cord, don't unplug your guitar.
Sure.
Things like that. You know?
Right.
I can imagine. Well, you know, you look at this and you, on top of the audio, you know, yeah, you look at the visual things.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, look at the colors of what the band's wearing. You look at, you know, you can even tell who the fans are responding to the most.
Mhm.
You know, again, and I can just say with, you know, what I've seen with so many bass players, core bass players, who just sit there, you know, headbanging and throwing their hair out, looking at the instrument.
Right.
And never, you couldn't even do another eye color. Okay? Because they're just staring down and beating the hell out of the thing, you know, all
Guilty.
night long. So, we have a confession tonight. Are you in back?
I
Okay.
think eye contact with the crowd is good.
Okay.
And then as far as, I think like a certain type of outfit is nice too.
Right.
You know, like if Greg's wearing this shirt and I'm wearing this, everybody's dressed different, then it kind of distracts, you know? Like
Right.
if everybody's wearing the same, not necessarily the
Sure.
same thing, but general idea, you know?
Right.
It
Right.
kind of helps distinguish.
Sure. Well, that's the thing, you know, you have to go look back at your videos and you have to really
Yeah,
be
yeah.
methodical in what the crowd's like. You know, when you play your live show, what song really is the epitome of Befallen? If you had to pick one song.
That might be different for each
Yeah, I think
member.
it's
Yeah,
different
yeah,
for everybody.
different.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, we've got time.
Yeah.
Your favorite?
I really like Lonely Waits. I think
Okay.
the aspects of that song really represent like a conglomerate of the band. So I really like playing that song.
Okay,
It's
Tom,
great
what do you
too.
think?
I would say Protea.
Well, not just because of marital reasons, I mean, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Who
okay,
cares
well,
about that? I mean,
He doesn't like
That's
sleeping on the
long
couch
gone.
after the gig, thank you. Okay.
Right.
Face?
For me, it's Protea because one, I actually get to do more,
Okay.
and also
very so.
actually, it's my favorite song as well. So I think it's the best thing we've done. So.
Yeah. I would say Acedia. It's got a great harmony in that song. It's very catchy. I enjoy playing it live, so it's probably my favorite.
And the drum department?
Probably one of my favorites is one we used to actually open up with was